So, okay.
Welcome, everybody, to our call this evening. It is the 7th of May, 2025. And this evening, we have the pleasure of interviewing George Kaduri from Mallorca and Andrzej Nowinski from Poland. Although this evening, they're actually joining us from?
Munich.
From Munich, yep. Germany.
And why are the both of you in Munich?
We've been invited to learn about the enhanced compensation plan. And
yep.
and we like our heads went like this. It's been very exciting. It's 2 years work has gone into over 2 years work has gone into it. They told us 35 iterations to get this far. We're not yet. We've had to sign NDAs, so we can't talk about anything specific, except to say that it's going to make it easier for people at the beginning to see money, be successful, and keep using the patches.
Yeah. So what we learn from the network marketing pros is that the sooner a brand partner sees earning, even if it's $1, they're more likely to stay within the business and build a sustainable business. So, yeah. So thank you, George, for your earlier introduction. I'd just like to, everybody already knows you, so I'd like to introduce Andrzej, if I may. So Andrzej, pleased to meet you.
Pleased to meet you too.
Yeah, it's our first time together, and what a pleasure. Thank you for joining us. I know that all our SPDs at the moment are under immense pressure, also with the incentive trip starting, is it tomorrow in Croatia?
That's right. We're flying tomorrow.
Yeah.
All together.
All together, that's incredible. So just some background on Andrzej is 20 years experience in network marketing. That's phenomenal. I really want to dive into that because the reason for this call is to speak about the business, network marketing, and how we can work our businesses and how we can take the advice, the real lived advice, the behind the scenes, the everyday grind from our SPDs and really learn and what we learn from them, how it is that we can apply it to our businesses as we grow. So 20 years in network marketing really offers us some rich experience. And you've been with Lifewave since 2023, currently SPD achieved after 22 months. You say you love the industry, you love the patches, and you're having fun traveling. So
that's right.
So Andrzej, tell us what got you into network marketing 20 years ago? What was the reason to choose network marketing?
Oh my God, that was so long ago, but that one I will never forget. 20 years ago, I was in US, in Chicago, and I met the guy. He was Czech, from Czech Republic. He didn't speak good English, he didn't speak good Polish, and he didn't speak good Spanish. If you live in Chicago, you got to speak one of those languages, okay? Because there are about 2 million Polish people, you know, another 2 or 3 million Spanish-speaking people and Americans. So this guy actually approached me. He gave me a business card, and he said, excuse me, I think we both have interest to meet because we can help each other. If you think the same, I invite you to my office. It was strange to me, but I kept the business card. And one day I found time to pay him a visit. And when I visited him, it appeared that he was 8 months in US. I was already 5 years. I was working 16 hours a day in 3 different jobs. I mean, business, side business, and 2 jobs. I was making good money, probably something around $5,000, but I didn't even have time to spend it. So I was exhausted, I was tired, I was young, I was hungry, but I didn't see the way out. You know, I was working all those hours, having no fun, having no life. And when I learned about this guy, he was sleeping till 10 because he didn't want to meet me in the morning. I'm like, how is that possible? Somebody can sleep that long. And when I met him, he was making about 4 or 5 times more than me. He was driving brand new Mercedes, and he was looking for exclusive apartment in one of the best districts of Chicago. That was the moment I asked him, what you do? What are you doing? He's like, what do you know about network marketing? I knew nothing about network marketing. I've been studying business and administration in Poland for 3 years, but I never had even 1 hour lesson about network marketing. I didn't know what is it. But, you know, the moment I discovered his achievement, financial achievements, I didn't need to know more. All I needed to know, can I do it as well? And it was my first start in network marketing. You know, I was a lucky one, because whenever I hear somebody telling me that they are not making money in network marketing, I don't know what they are talking about, because I was maybe lucky enough to have the right sponsorship and maybe choosing the right companies. I was never super successful in those companies, but I was always making enough not to work, you know, not to be. It was, I mean, I would never think that you can yourself and change your life so dramatically just because of one meeting. Just one meeting, one guy, and everything changed from that moment. But I have to tell you that I had also bad times when I backed off from network marketing. And even 2 years ago, I was about to leave this industry. But this is another story. If you want to talk about this later, I will touch on it.
Beautiful. Well, we definitely want to touch on that. But so thank you for that background. And it is incredibly inspiring to know that it doesn't matter what your background is, how much disadvantages you may have had growing up, that everyone has an equal opportunity when it comes to network marketing.
It is, yeah. Everybody has, yeah, definitely.
So George and Andrzej, tell us, what is the vibe in Munich as you guys get ready for your trip to Croatia tomorrow? Is it quite festive? You know, what does it feel like?
Exciting. Yo, we were all in. We had one whole day yesterday with Merit and all the European corporate people, and a lady called Emily, who worked with Meredith very closely on Common. She's a specialist in those, and they have two companies consulting with them, and they showed us everything. And I must admit, my brain started to do this. And so I've got to go through it again, but there's some really great things inside it. And then today, we each had personal sessions with them to kind of break down, do an x-ray of our accounts and show us the difference between the money in the old plan and the money in the new plan, what monies we'd be receiving, and also to understand where we need to put our energies. So that's really exciting. I could say that some people were a little bit nervous before having those interviews, and pretty much everybody came out smiling. So that's, and going to Dubrovnik, that we'll do tomorrow, and that's a whole different story, because guys, if you get onto the incentive trips, Andrzej's been on with, and they just treat us like royalty. It's wonderful.
George, even now, we stay in 5-star hotel. I don't want to show you around because there's a mess here, but you know, it's like I've been in those other companies, but you know, it's what I like about Lifewave is I mean, qualification might be not that easy, but if you qualify for somebody who never been in this kind of trips, it's like you feel like they give you 100% of what they can give you in such city. Like if you go to, it doesn't matter which city, you go to Prague, you go to Munich, you go to Marrakesh, they will give you the best of the city. I'm talking about 5-star restaurant. I'm talking about the best experience possible. You know, like it might be a short trip, you know, 4 nights, but you know, you will remember this to the end of your life. It's always, you know, like I just watched on TV just a few days ago in Polish TV. We watched one of those programs, you know, when they take those coach people, you know, people who stay too much in front of TV, you know, just sitting on the couch, and they taking them, and they taking them out, you know, for training. And actually, they took them to Marrakesh. And, you know, we're talking about TV program. So everything is up to the top, you know, like top restaurants, top experiences. I'm like, oh my God, you know, because suddenly I discovered I have seen this. I've been in this restaurant. I have seen that. I'm like, oh my God. I mean, we haven't been on TV, but the company gave us everything that TV program can give you. So we're talking about top of the top. That's why I'm so excited. I mean, this trip, I didn't know that I'm going to qualify or not because I was missing some points, but I'm so thankful I qualified. I'm a little bit sick today because I'm sniffing and so on. Probably I was stressed out a little bit about this compensation plan because they're throwing on us all this stuff. Now there's a huge responsibility to kind of learn it, because we need to teach you, we need to show you all the benefits, even though we don't understand everything yet. I mean, we kind of like it, but I'm still, you know, a little bit like, oh my God, it's a little bit different, you know, how is it working? How is that? A lot of questions, a lot of stuff. But at the same time, you know, if I think tomorrow, I know the next 4 days are gonna be like, I'm gonna rest. I mean, I'm already getting better just thinking of traveling to Dubrovnik. So this kind of experience.
Andrzej, as you're explaining to me the fact that you're feeling a little bit nervous that you have to learn this this new compensation plan in order to be able to teach it to your downline, right? It reminds me of what it feels like when you just come into network marketing and you're trying to learn about the product and the compensation plan, and you're like, I want to tell everybody about it, but I don't know enough about it to talk about it. So you don't have anybody higher than you to draw from, do you? Or would that be corporate in that case?
Corporate and between each other, we're going to have to brainstorm it. Chris will create, those of you who know Chris and Lucinda, Chris will print it out and put it all on his wall and look at it, and because it's a little bit in corporate speak, and we have to turn it into human speak. And I already saw things.
That's right. That's the biggest challenge.
Yeah. And then you also have the language for Andrzej. You also have to change the language to Polish, I take it.
Yes, the same. But you know, even the old compensation plan, being honest with you guys, the first moment somebody showed me Lifewave, I refuse it. I refuse this right away. I was introduced to Lifewave 4 times. And 4 times, I mean, of course, timing wasn't right. But, you know, probably the worst thing that could happen to me is that when somebody was introducing to me, they didn't know how to do it. And I was studying compensation plan on my own. I'm talking about this literature that you can find on a website. And this is probably the worst explanation I found ever in industry. Those papers are so wrong that, you know, even me, having this 20 years experience, I didn't get it. I mean, I look at those papers, I'm like, it's too complicated. I don't get it. Thank you very much. I'm not interested. Now, when I think of this after 2 years experience, I'm like, it was so simple. I mean, come on. It was so simple. Like I was always saying to people, you know what? I can explain this compensation plan. Do you have 4 minutes? People were like, yeah, I mean, I got 4 minutes. Yeah, because that's enough to explain to you the compensation plan. So, you know, everything is about, it's not about knowing everything. It's about understanding the main point and putting together, because people don't need to know details, because details, there's a computer behind, he will take care of it. All people have to know is, where's the money? Is there any money to earn? And eventually what I got to do to get there. And
so
that's
then,
pretty much.
Let me ask you then, tell us what the compensation plan is in 1 minute.
One more time?
Will you tell us the compensation plan in 1 minute? Can you explain Lifewave's compensation plan to us?
Without giving any details, we're not allowed to give details yet.
Not the new one. The existing one.
The existing
Because
one?
I'd be super impressed to hear it in 1 minute if you can.
No, it was 4 minutes, not 1 minute.
Oh, okay.
4 minutes.
Yeah, all right. Well, that I get. Okay.
In 1 minute, it's also possible if I talk to somebody who is experienced. Why? Because the first two bonuses, the first bonus, the customer bonus, is pretty much the same everywhere. You get customers, you get commission $10 to $50, right? Everybody else have the same. The more products you sell, the more money you make. It's simple, and it doesn't require explanation. The second bonus was when you get this wholesale, when you get the business partners, and it's also very similar to other companies. You get somebody on premium, you make a premium commission. You get somebody on the small package, you make a little commission. But that's also easy to understand, and nobody needs to, any university behind this to understand it. Now, a lot of people, I be honest with you, I was a little bit confused about those cycles, because cycles are not easy to understand. But as long as you explain to people, the more people you have, the more volume, and they pay you on it. Cycles, $50 per cycles. I was never going into detail, because the computer is here behind to count those cycles, how many cycles on the left side, how many cycles on the right side, and the back office is always showing you how much you're missing on it. But when I was explaining this, I was saying, hey, if you have one cycle, you have $50. If you have 10 cycles, you have $500. If you have 100 cycles, you have $5,000, up to $25,000. So, and the only thing you have to worry is just put enough people on the left side and right side. And and this is important, this is the most important message I learned in network marketing a long time ago, that network marketing is the only industry that will accept 98% failure. Let me explain to you. When we have been in school, we had to pass exam for, 70% to pass it, right? 70, 80. If you were not 100%, you were a failure, right? If you went under 70%, they will fail you. You will have what are the grades? You will not pass the exam. In network marketing, what I learned that I can talk to 1,000 people, and even 950 can tell me no. That's what happened to me. I sponsor personally only 45 people to nowadays. 45 people personally sponsored. So that means there was so many presentations, people would say no. I would say 95% of my presentation, people refuse my message. But I learned one thing. People don't refuse you. People just refuse the opportunity. And everybody has the right to refuse opportunity. Usually it's about the timing. It's never about opportunity, because most people, if timing is not right, they will not see what they're supposed to see. You are like a blind person, okay? But now, understanding this, that it's okay, that this is okay. Out of 45 people, my team grew now to 10,000 people, almost 10,000 people. So I say to people, if you accept that you can hear, that's absolutely okay. Like regular sales, if you are, in Amazon sale, or if you are a salesperson, you have to have a very high rate of performance to make money, right? Let's say you sell Thermomix. If you fail 98%, you're not gonna make enough money to pay your bills. In network marketing, even if I fail, but if I bring those 45, or if I bring 20 people, and they understand what I told you just a second ago, and if they repeat this process, suddenly you paid on weak performance of 10,000 people. Like I explain it to people, if I have a sales team, a regular company, my salespeople, 10 or 20 salespeople, they have to perform very well for my company to be running. In network marketing, when I have access directly or indirectly, most likely indirectly, to 10,000 people, even if they get just one customer a month, there's 10,000 customers every month. When I understood this power, that suddenly if you're patient enough to build it big enough, When you grow your team to not 10,000, forget about that. If you grow your team to few hundred, and you teach them just, I mean, getting one customer is not a skill, but let's say it's a skill, and you teach them how to get one customer, and you have a team of 1,000 people, you can get 1,000 customers, and you can be paid commission on it. Even if it's 5%, and in our compensation plan is actually more, it's huge money. It's huge money. So that's when I understood this, that why I didn't have any problem to start with this company, start immediately. Like when I started on January, I started making calls every day, like 10 calls a day, because I understood that if you find the right product at the right time, and this is perfect timing for patches, I mean, for X39, this is perfect time.
Yeah.
All those disasters, I mean, people getting sick, people getting fired, people getting economy problem. This is actually rodeo for our business.
Absolutely.
Nobody's gonna look at your business if they doing well. I mean, if they paid well, if they go to job. But when people are looking for opportunity, when they are at risk to lose the job, when they are at risk at missing the payment, bank payment, this is the moment people are open to look for opportunity. That's why when everybody is afraid, oh my God, there's war coming. Oh my God, there's economy collapsing. Oh my God, there are tariffs by Donald Trump, whatever. I'm actually expecting growth, because actually this situation makes our business to expand and grow.
And you said, I think in Lisbon, you told your story because you guys had gotten to a mess and you had a lot of debt, and maybe tell a little bit about that story. And then I think I heard you today at lunch say that with this company is the most you've ever made.
That's right. I mean, 2 years ago, because my previous company, there were a lot of bad things that happened, and eventually this company took them about 2 years to go bankrupt. So, I was believing that this company can survive, so I was sticking with them too long. And that put me into very risky situation. My debt went from, 20,000 euro to 70, 80,000 euro in debt. My monthly installments went from, because the percentage went up during COVID in Poland. So my monthly payments went from 700 euro to 1,500 euro. So I had to make enough, at least 1,500, to make a payment to the bank. And where is the living? Where rent, electricity, everything else. So I was in a position like I was 45. As I was 45, I was looking in the mirror. I'm like, where did I go wrong? You are 45 and you broke. You don't have money. You owe the money to the bank. And I was thinking, and what? This is it? I have to go to another 2 jobs to make my payments till I'm 60 or 65. I mean, you know what? This picture of me that I will have to pay my debt for the rest of my life. The best part of my life, it's like when kids are grown up, you can travel, you can have fun. And if you told me at this moment, then 15 months later, I will be debt free. I'll be traveling. I'll be making enough money to, I don't know, like today, going to 5-star restaurant and eat the best, whatever they have. I mean, like, what do you have the best? What's the best thing on this menu? Not looking at the price. The guy who was looking on the right side of menu, because I had to look at the price and always saying, oh, I have this day for pierogis. Pierogi is good stuff, but it's cheap stuff, okay? Suddenly, you are the guy, you are like going for the best of the best. And, if they say, oh, but it's a kind of expensive. Did I ask you for the price? It's like Lifewave.
You can invite other people. I'll tell a funny story just to hear. So Chris asked me to come to South Africa, and he said, would you take out my inner circle to dinner? And I went, yeah, sure. How many people? He said, 40. I said, oh, okay. Well, 60 people turn up, and there wasn't really any control. So people were ordering, some people were not respectful and were ordering lots of drinks and so on. So the bill was, I've never taken 60 people out to dinner, and the bill was like, say, 1,700 euros. And I was like, okay, but it's not going to stress me out. And I thought about it the next day. And I thought, how am I going to turn this one around as well? So I said, listen, guys, I want to help you all to get into the position that you can all take 60 people out to dinner next year. And that's what
and don't get bankrupt.
And that's the kind of what we're doing here, transmitting, because this is something I said a little bit earlier to Andrzej, and many of you have heard me say this, but really 80% of what we're doing here is the work we do on ourselves. The rest is actually doing it, how it works, understanding how it works, but it's driving it from yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Personal development work.
Yeah. Mike Hernandez, who some of you know, Andrzej certainly does, he describes this as personal development with compensation plan.
Yeah, it's just this kind of business, because I've been in personal development for the last, actively 30 years, but usually you work to earn a salary so that you can pay and do the courses. Here, it's just phenomenal. The business pays you to do self-development work, and it is such a vehicle for putting you in a zone of discomfort, because you're constantly up against it.
There's one more thing. I was just talking to George because Paolo and Liliana, they invited us to go to Dubai at the end of June, because we're getting married. I mean, my Anya and me, finally, we're getting married soon. Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations.
And they invited us, why don't you go to Dubai? I'm like, I cannot, because I actually am going for this training. 15 years ago, I went to this training of Harv Eker. You know Harv Eker? They got this 3-day training, not expensive 3-day training, but they sell you this Quantum Leap. And Quantum Leap, at the point of my life, 15 years ago,
was 15,000.
Yeah. I'm like, who can afford this? I mean, there were some people buying this, and everybody else was jealous, like, oh my God, because certainly they're selling those trainings kind of like life-changing, but even the price, I mean, you should see those people wearing those Quantum Leap badges, how proud they were, because you are like one of 300 people. Like, if there's 300 or 400 people in the room, probably 20 gonna go for this Quantum Leap. I remember one thing that 15 years ago, I couldn't afford it. I was even thinking about borrowing money, but no bank would ever lend me this money at this point of time. It was like, 10,000 euro, maybe more.
It was 15.
I'm like, 15? Yeah, maybe that.
I remember.
Probably like that.
I've got to do this. But
hold on. 15 years ago, it was even difficult for me to borrow money to buy it. Just recently, I went to one of those cheap trainings, like 3-day training. Actually, I wanted to meet some people, maybe sponsor them into my business.
Of course.
And there was this opportunity that if you buy it today, there's a reduction in price. And you know what? I'm like, hey, by the way, I can afford it. And I bought it. I'm like, I just came in, I put my, no credit, I put my bank account, like a real money, not borrowing money on credit card, just real money. And I purchased this. I'm like, after I did it, it was like buying a steak in a restaurant, okay? And after I did it, I was like, oh my God, I just purchased this training, like 90% people, they taking loans to buy this training, and I bought it for cash. cash
you,
paid
Lifewave.
training for like more than 10,000 euro, like, yeah, 15,000 euro probably, something like that. You know, I was shocked. I came out of this place, I called Anya and I said, hey, I bought myself this Quantum Leap. And she's like, you are crazy. I'm like, no, for the first time, I didn't have to think twice. I was dreaming about this. I wanted to do it. I don't even know if I need it. It was more like, you know, kind of doing something that I could never afford it before. It was like, oh, it's out of my league. I can't afford. I will never be able to buy it. And suddenly, can you imagine? I'm in this business only for 2 years. In 2 years, everything changed. This is why I like Lifewave. Lifewave is the opportunity. Can change. It can be a change for everybody who decides so. You just have to decide so, like I decided to. But you know what? If you make a decision, you have to just run for it. There's one thing, there's another lesson, if I can give you one lesson, is time worked against you. The worst thing that you can do when you join opportunity is kind of look around for too long. You know, like you don't want to be one of those people who say, oh, people asking you, so how much money you make? Let's say, Tanya, how much money you make? And you don't want to be the person saying, oh, I'm in this business for 2 years, but I was testing product for 2 years, come on. And now I actually made decision to go for it. No, no, no. When you testing products before, but when you sign up, you just run for it and don't look left, don't look right, don't look back, just run for it because this is one-time opportunity. I'm telling you right now, out of 20 years experience, I tell you, something like Lifewave appears on the market once every 10, maybe 15 years.
Or less.
Not more often.
Yeah.
The
Lifewave.
right product, the right company, the right people, the right ownership, the right leadership at the same time. This is rare opportunity. This is something that happens no more often than once every 10 years. And you have to be lucky to actually spot it. Because you can be blind. I mean, there's so many people are blind for our opportunity. I mean, you're talking to them and they don't see what they're supposed to see and they skip on it. And you know what?
But it took 4 people to talk. It took 4 people to talk to you before you gave it attention. It took 4 people to talk to you before you gave it attention.
Yeah, I was blind. I was blind. Yes, I was actually the 5th time I said yes. But you know, I always say one statement. Sometimes I say it, sometimes not. If somebody refuses opportunity, I always apologize to people. I'm like, let's say I'm talking to, I can see Julia here, okay, Julia. If Julia refused this, I would say, Julia, I would like to apologize you for my incompetence. Because I know what I did wrong, but I'm really sorry. I couldn't put on you all the information necessary for you to make the right decision to jump on it. And I'm really sorry that I wasn't competent enough to do the right job because I know how much you're gonna lose for the next 2 years not joining us. That's it. And even if I don't say it, I always talk to people with this attitude that if I don't convince them, if they don't get their attention, I'm always sorry because I already know, and you know now, because I told you my story, how much this business can change lives. I mean, I have seen so many other people's lives changing because of this, some people crying. You know what? It's not important how much it happens to you because you're already kind of settling down, you know, I'm like, you're becoming comfortable. But once in a while, I have a call from somebody. It's like, Andrzej, thank you. You believed in me more than I believed. And Lifewave is just the vehicle that we just need to sit on it. But I have people, you know, the health improved. I'm talking about people who've been in pain for 10 years.
And more.
There's one story I want to tell you about the product. I had this lady. I called her and, you know, I was, when she told me she's in pain, I told her, you know what, I might have a solution for you. And she's like, Andrzej, if somebody is in pain, 1 is little pain, 10 is big pain, huge pain, okay? I'm on 14. I'm like, oh my God. And she's like, you and no other salesperson never gonna sell me anything else. I tried everything and I don't want to be disappointed anymore. I learned how to accept my situation and let it be that way. I'm like, is it good enough reason not to give it a shot, taking into consideration company gives you 90 days unconditional warranty? She said yes, and she dropped the phone. 10 days later, she's calling me and says, Andrzej, tell me one thing. If I buy it and if it doesn't work, do they really get me money back? I'm like, now when you told me your story, you know, with this pain, fighting for 14 years, you know, because of course pills, if she was taking some pills, it would remove the pain, but she couldn't take it anymore because of liver and this kind of stuff, okay? And I said, you know what, Anya, because her name was Anya, I can guarantee you that if it doesn't work, you don't even have to explain why it didn't work. They will get you money back if you meet the criteria of 90 days. And she bought like 2 or maybe 3 packages, I don't remember. 10 days later, she's calling me back and she's crying. I'm like, oh my God, Anya, what happened? Why are you crying? She's like, because I'm not in pain anymore. I'm like, this is a reason to cry. I mean, you should be happy, shouldn't you? And she's like, you know what? You know why she was crying?
She was happy.
Crying because she asked me, how long is this product? I mean, how long is this company on the market? Because when she found out that this company is 20 years old, I mean, 19 years old at this moment, she assumed that the product is 19 years on the market. You know what does it mean? That she could be out of pain 10 years ago. And when I explained to her that X39 and those other products are 8 years or 6 years on the market, it didn't help situation because she was still crying because she was so sorry. She was so sorry. Nobody told her about technology before. You know, I mean, come on, look at this. If somebody is in pain from 0 to 14 at 14 or 12 level, and if she learned about this product 6 years before, she could be out of it. I mean, her pain went to 1, maybe 1, maybe 2, sometimes 0. It's a life-changing experience. This is the story that every time I'm sometimes reluctant to call somebody to tell them about the product, I remind myself Anya. And I say, what if there's another Anya waiting for this?
Absolutely. It's very inspirational. It's very inspirational. And what I notice in my short relationship with Lifewave to this point, it's only been 4 months. But when we have, and I've had many of what you're talking about now, many people that have been affected so positively, that have lost hope in their situations improving. And what they ultimately do is they go and they buy the premium pack and they give away sleeves to people just so that they can share the hope. It's incredible. This is why network marketing is such a beautiful model for the Lifewave business.
My first reaction to Lifewave was no, not interested. And if I think that if I stuck with my no and hadn't got past it, there are literally thousands of people around the world who would be living still in excruciating pain. It's something incredible. And then there's another thing. Guys, some of you we've met, Bayanda, who I can see her there, we met in South Africa. Dr. Ali, who's on the call, met Andrzej in Marrakesh. It's really important to de-virtualize. A friend of mine made that expression, is to meet each other in person as much as possible. It's very, Tanja, when she talked about this call, she wanted to talk about the importance of travel for us in our businesses. That was part of the question that she wanted to ask. So maybe you should ask that question, and maybe even ask Dr. Allison to add a little bit of an answer to that one. And it's, well, I'll leave it with you.
Okay, thank you, George. Okay. Well, I mean, it's a beautiful opportunity on the eve of your incentive trip. What does the travel aspect of building a Lifewave business, what is the impact? And for instance, we're so inspired by Chris and Lucinda that have just done their City Hop tour, and we're inspired by these SPDs and Dr. Ali that's coming to South Africa very soon to come and do presentations here in South Africa. How important is it to come face to face with other brand partners in your organization? I'll ask it to Andre first, and then George, please.
You know, even if you're successful, sometimes you have some challenges, because you know when you're at the bottom, you have different challenges. When you're at the top or in the middle, you have different challenges. And sometimes just by sharing, listening to other people's stories, even getting inspiration from somebody's story. Sometimes, like I met George and he told me about having business in 25 countries. I'm like, oh my God, that sounds incredible. And you know, suddenly I'm, you know, like when I heard it, I started thinking, who do I know in other countries? I mean, what if, you know, when you meet other people from the same company, and when they have, you know, like even yesterday, I had this one gentleman, he's 20 years in the business, but he told me about some challenges. I mean, after 20 years, you might have some other challenges that I didn't even expect to have, because I'm just 2 years in the business. So, you know, probably I have a different perspective than him. And that actually helps me to understand it better. And besides that, you know, when you come back, when you travel and when you meet those people, what is better thing? Like, even if you meet those people, and like just some time ago, I asked George to make what I'm doing for you today. I asked George to give his insight on this business to my people. I mean, how many times they can listen to me? I mean, they are already sick and tired of listening to me. But when George appeared, everybody fall in love because his story was so inspirational. So I would say, if you have an opportunity to travel, first of all, you can't much show your money. I mean, nowadays, everybody can wear a nice watch. Everybody can wear a nice T-shirt, nice shoe, you know. But, you know, when it comes to lifestyle, what is more inspiring that you're traveling? It means it doesn't mean you just have money, but it means you have time to travel. So I'm using this as a way to show that this business is a lifestyle. And whenever I travel, if I show myself traveling, it's just to inspire other people. I would never even think of how many people watching us. They don't tell you, but they watch you. And one day they might say, what, Julia, Karen, Sandy, what are you doing? Because I want to do the same.
Yeah. Thank you.
So I would actually love to ask Alison to address that question as well, because I'm going to say this, Alison, because she said to me after she won the trip to Marrakesh, she said, it's the first time I've really hustled. And I said, you know what, keep hustling and you get your whole life into your hands, because this is what we do. Lifewave helps us to get our lives completely into our own hands and not be in the hands of others. But I saw Alison in Marrakesh connecting with lots of people and sharing a lot of learning. When we meet each other, we learn a lot from each other. I'd love you to say something here, Alison. You can unmute.
I'm just very, very sad not to be coming to Croatia, but you know why it is? Because I didn't.
You should.
I didn't keep the hustling. I didn't keep up the hustling. Yeah, distraction, other priorities, but really, Lifewave needs to be the priority until you've got the residual income. So, in terms of travel, I mean, the incentive trips are something else. Like I've written in the chat, I never really knew what a VIP experience was until we went on the incentive trip. The way Lifewave treated us was astounding. It left me speechless again and again and again, and close to tears. It was quite incredible. I will never forget some of those candlelit dinners. And George's add-on at the Oasis was just truly blissful. It was amazing, wasn't it, Andrzej?
Oh my God.
So it was just such a beautiful thing to add on.
Well, now we all need to know what the add-on was.
Besides the trip itself and all of that,
but
there's also
sitting around a campfire or a log fire or fire pit, hearing Andrzej talking, releasing gems of how he built his business, Alexandra, how she built hers. You pick up so many little things at a subconscious level, you know, and it just makes you think bigger about the business, about yourself as the CEO of your own business. It helps you to rise above the criticism. I had another criticism on Monday in my functional medicine doctor group, and it just left me with sleepless nights again. But it helps you to rise above that. The important thing is to keep your pipeline full, keep talking to people. And it's just seeing how the leaders act. I mean, people like Dave Prosser, he was doing live videos into his groups several times a day, all the time. He was doing live videos into his groups, telling people, look, this is why you need to get on this incentive trip. You know, sometimes it was to his groups for his own brand partners. Sometimes it was for his groups, for his customers, trying to help encourage them to actually join as brand partners. Sometimes it was straight to Facebook, but he was constantly doing those. And that is what being professional is. It's keeping on doing what you need to do to impact more lives, because it's the lives that we're impacting that is so important here. And it breaks my heart every single day in the NHS that I can't mention Lifewave. It just breaks my heart because there are so many people who need it. And my own brand partners, so often they say, oh, I don't want to talk about the business, I just want to talk about the products. And then they complain that the product's too expensive. It just doesn't compute, because it can pay for itself. You know, it's Javi says, do you want your products retail price, wholesale price, or free?
And also something that comes to mind, Dr. Ali, is the reason you can't do it is the reason you must do it. Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason why everything is set up that way. That good stuff we can say, and there's so much bad stuff they can tell without any consequences. And this is actually, you know, like when I joined Lifewave, I decided we are not just doing business here. We are in the war. We are in the war. We're fighting for people's souls. I mean, at the beginning, when the first time I heard it, it was like a little bit like, oh my God, that's too much. I mean, but now after 2 years, after looking what's happening around us, I mean, I'm talking about healthcare, you know, people not getting what they're supposed to get. Sometimes, you know, even we're talking about NHS, how many doctors say, I'm sorry, but I can't do anything more to you? And people just left hopeless. And I'm not talking about, you know, because we're not treating disease or this, but you know what, I'm just saying, just give it a shot. You know what is the best about Lifewave? We don't have to even claim it can help with this or that health issue. We just say, give it a shot. Give it a shot and see what happens.
And as Chris says, try this sticker.
Sticker, yeah.
And worst case scenario, you have a 90-day no questions asked guarantee.
Not as a brand partner. Brand partner is 30 days. And it's going to be actually interesting because of some of the changes that are coming that allow people to receive money more quickly, that people who may not be ready to start should maybe now sign up as a with a 90-day guarantee until they're ready to start.
You know what?
Okay, good.
It's a good. It's still a good step. Why? Because the worst thing that can happen if somebody joining, like we are not in. We're not selling insurance. We're not selling. I don't know, one of those expensive stuff that you have to sell it and run away. We are selling long-term purchasing. So just selling to somebody 1 or 2 packs of patches doesn't make any sense, because what we want somebody to be on patches for 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. So we have to think long-term. And being honest with you, this is the first company out of few I've been in for 20 years where I don't feel anymore responsible, because I don't have to, if the product works or not, because the company took this burden from my back. I don't have
Yes.
to. I don't have to worry. When we're selling something to somebody who is financially okay, that's a different story. But when we're selling product to somebody who is already struggling, health-wise and financially, I mean, how many times I felt like, because I was selling supplements, and somebody, bought this supplement, spent a lot of money, and unfortunately, it didn't work for them in this period of time. I felt like a little bit disappointed. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. But, I could just say, I'm sorry, it didn't work, because nobody was refunding. Here, I'm so confident, because I'm like, just give it a shot, because the company takes this responsibility from my back. And I know, because on the other hand, I know that majority people will feel it within 30 days. I mean, it's good if they jump on 90 days trial, but probably 30 days is enough. Is it?
Yeah.
90%,
Absolutely.
90% times 30 days is enough. I have some people reacting to product after 3 hours.
Well, I've got people after 15 seconds.
Yep, me too. I think I'm the person with the most one-patch wonders ever.
What do you mean?
So yeah, I seem to be very lucky.
You probably don't know that phrase, Andre, but we have a phrase, a one-patch wonder. Somebody who with one patch their life changed. So there's a man in South Africa. He was in a wheelchair for 5 years. He'd suffered a home invasion. He'd had a shotgun pulled on him.
Oh my God.
He was going to go for assisted suicide in Dignitas, but because of COVID, his flights were cancelled. He couldn't go. And after somebody talked to him for 21 months from London on the phone saying, you've got to put these patches on. Finally, he said, okay, whatever. One patch, he got out of his wheelchair. We've got a video of him climbing wall the next day. That's a one-patch wonder.
Yeah. So, gentlemen, I have so many questions that I want to ask you, but our conversation's just been so rich, but we already are over an hour. Do you mind if I ask just a few questions and get some quick answers in?
Sure.
Would that be okay?
Me. Okay.
For both of you.
You already
so
noticed
the same
it's very
question.
difficult for me and George, but that's okay. Let's make it short. Make it sweet.
All right. So for you, Andreas, which rank was the most difficult for you to crack?
You know what? I think because I went very quick, manager was after 9 days, after 1 month was director, after 2 months was senior director. Executive was probably 6 months after start. Be honest with you, I got a little bit into, because it was going so fast. When I got to presidential, I was stuck on it for 1 year. And there was the moment I'm like, oh, this is it. Maybe I'm, it's like, before it was going so fast that suddenly, when I went to this level of presidential director, it was, I became very impatient, because suddenly it took me another year to get to SPD rank, right? So you have to understand that even if it goes easy at the beginning, that's absolutely okay. We're talking about different money, we're talking about different requirements at higher levels. And just because something goes easy at the beginning, be prepared, and it's normal that it will take longer at a certain time. Sometimes it's about growth. I mean, nowadays I would say why I didn't become SPD sooner, maybe because I wasn't ready to be SPD.
Yeah.
You know, like you have
Yes.
to get ready for it. It's like rank advancement comes. You have to become a person that can be at the rank before you becoming before you achieve the rank. So
Yeah.
personal
Really good
growth
point.
and Tanja and so on. I think that this is important. That's why I say to people, as much time as possible with people who are on the same path, because that way is the fastest way to mentally grow to whoever you have to become to achieve a next rank.
Yeah. Beautiful. Wow. Thank you. And for you, George?
So for me, the only in the current compensation plan structure, the only difficult thing in my view is getting people to be directors. You need 2 directors for you to be able to have the structure built so that you can become a senior executive presidential and senior presidential director. So the only difficult thing is it's relatively easy for people to become manager, but then once they're manager, they actually have to decide, do I really want to do this? Is this for me? It's too much work, blah, 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 blah. So that was the only difficult thing in my view in the whole story. The rest is just work and supporting people. And what Andre just said is very key. I remember a conversation that Javi had with somebody who said she wanted to be senior presidential director. And he said, are you ready to do that? Are you ready to be that? Are you able to? Said, yes, I am. And now she realized, no, not at all, because we do support people a lot. And that does take a little bit of, it does take a little bit of patience, let's say, and a little bit of understanding. And I'm always saying, be kind, help everybody, but sometimes you need to give a kick.
Yeah.
And that you have to learn to do that kindly, but that's part of the story.
But
Yeah.
George, there's one thing into it. Up to the manager is the moment you can. Everything depends on you.
Mm-hmm.
And we like to depend on ourselves. It's like, oh, I'm gonna do it myself. I'm gonna do it myself. When you go director and higher, suddenly you depended on other people. And this is difficult part for a lot of us because we're so self-independent. I mean, like, oh, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Like, especially women. I'm gonna clean myself. I mean, you can't do it. Leave it to me because, you're getting pissed off when your man is trying to do something like, let's say, cooking, or it doesn't matter, And suddenly, in network marketing, you have to say, no, it's not about you anymore. It's not. I mean, you can become manager, maybe even director. You can do it yourself, but to go any higher position, it's not about you anymore. Suddenly, you have to empower people. You have to give to other people. Like for me, at the beginning, I was doing all the presentations because I was feeling like I'm the only one who can do it right. I was so wrong. And until when I learned that I have to give and empower other people, of course they failed at the beginning. The beginning was bad, but I wouldn't be able to be here tonight, let's say, to be with you, because I would have to run my presentation, right? I couldn't go to Munich. I couldn't go to my trip if I didn't develop some leadership. So I can say, hey guys, I'm leaving for a week, but somebody has to take your presentation. And I have 10 other speakers ready to do it for me. I mean, for themselves, actually, because this makes them, like even you, Tanja, organizing this and having this role of moderator today, this is the way you grow. Thank you for that.
It's my pleasure, and thank you for the opportunity. So, and George, and for you, do you have something you want to share?
The question again? The exact question?
We were talking about
Maybe
what
go
was
to the next one. Go to the next one.
Okay.
Should we go to the next one? Okay, all right. So in closing, what is the parting advice that you want to say for the next 12 months? We have people in the audience tonight that really want to be on the incentive trip next year. What can you tell them to inspire them and to give them a few pointers that could ensure success for them to be on the incentive trip next year?
Okay. There's one saying that the worst thing can happen to you is when the opportunity meets you unprepared. This is the worst thing that can happen. There's a lot of opportunities showing on our path, but the worst thing can happen is if the opportunity meets you unprepared. I say to people, don't get ready for incentive when it appears. Get ready for incentive before it's announced. So you work on people now, you get people, you get new folks, you get new customers, you get new distributors now, because if the incentive trip comes, look, there are some other, it's not about recruiting only, it's about rank advancement of other people, it's about other people going, doing something. So the more people you have, the more opportunity is to earn those extra points that are behind your activity, behind your recruitment, behind your getting customers. So I would say, if you want to go on incentive trips, you have to work on them now. So when it's announced, you're ready. You are not alone. You are waiting for the incentive with your team. And by the way, if your team qualifies, this is really fun. The best fun is when you go with your team to the trip, not by yourself.
Yeah. And how many people from your organization do you have with you at the moment for Dubrovnik?
For this trip, I have 5 people.
Beautiful. George, and you? What advice do you have for us?
So look, it's you've heard me say this a lot, and it follows on from what Andrzej says. Do this every day, every day, every day, every day. Be consequent. Reach out to people. Support people as much as you can, as much as they wish to be supported. Keep an eye what's going on in your organization. Look out. The reason that we're doing this call is I saw Tanja ask questions in a group, and I figured I had the answers to give her. I didn't know Tanja, but I reached out to her and I said, Tanja, I think I've got the answers for you. And we started talking. And then I saw somebody who this was 3 months ago. She hadn't been very long with Lifewave. And I said, you know what, Tanja, and this goes to events. We came up about the event in London, the corporate event. And she was like, yeah, no, maybe I would. And I said, look, if you decide to come to London from South Africa, I'll host you. So that's what I did. I changed my hotel room and got a place with 2 bedrooms and a dreadful bathroom. But anyways, she came to London, and that was life-changing. So support people as much as you can, and there's many ways to support people. Sometimes it's something like that I did, and sometimes it's being rather firm and saying, really, are you really going to do that? Or even cases of saying people, don't do that. It's not going to work for you. We've seen it time and time and again, not going to work. It may cost you a lot of money. It may cost you a lot of time. There's lots of ways of support. In terms of my first incentive trip, I went with Lifewave. I was the only one. There was nobody from my team. And in this one, I think there's 12. So
wow,
it's very exciting.
Hey, George,
Incredible.
you mentioned one important thing. When you said that you change your apartment so you can accommodate Tanja,
Yeah.
The same was when I went to US. I could easily afford to be in 5-star hotel with Anya and my son. But you know, when my people came there, I'm like, yeah, I mean, let's get together to one of those less expensive places so we stay together. And it was the best decision ever. Because I can imagine I would be in this 5-star hotel. There would be just next to me in one of those bungalows, you know, that you know, it's a different place, but it's cheap. But we had so much fun because the opportunity to spend time together, those nights, you know, evenings when everybody share, it connected us so much. It's like it's about reaching out to people, getting the opportunity to see another side of the world, like, you know, going to another city. It's the commitment that Tanya you did, because going to another side of the world is anyway the commitment. But it showed to George, hey, she's committed enough. If she can committed enough to fly to London, everything can happen. I mean, I like that.
And these things rebound over the years. So I think Bridget is on the call here. I'm going to see if she's still here. But we were in Dallas, and there was a break between one session and something that David was doing. We had like 2.5 hours, and I'd a friend of mine who is in my first line. She's in Mexico. She came and she was I was hosting her. Anyway, she walks into the room, and there were, I don't know, 8 people all over the room, on the bed, on the sofas, and because I said, come up and let's just chill out in that. So it was a lot of fun. And these things, you know, it's not just about business. We're doing something with people here, something very, very powerful. And, you know, I guess I'll end with this. We are in a world with a lot of bad news. There's a lot of bad news around the place, and we're bringing good news. And what happens is people are so unaccustomed to good news that so many of them are like, I don't believe it. Can't be true. Must be a placebo effect. If it's that good, why isn't it in the chemist and all these things that we hear? But we're bringing good news, and this is something very special. So Javi is here. Let's have Javi. Javi came and joined us. How long you been here?
Amazing. Hello, Javi. Welcome to our call.
So why don't you unmute your microphone and say something? Because we're going to meet in South Africa again in about 2 or 3 weeks or so. Where are you? Dear boy, come on, open your microphone.
What a wonderful surprise. Welcome, Javi.
See if he's I don't know where he is.
Maybe he's camera shy.
I can't.
No, I don't think so.
I can't see.
It was so cool to see his and Olga's message in the South African group, getting us all excited about the trip.
Oh yeah, guys, if you haven't got tickets, and if you're in South Africa and you haven't got tickets for the event, you really do need to join. I don't see him in the list of, I can see my daughter.
Yeah, I don't see him either. I'm also looking for him. Who's got him? Where did he go?
I don't know. He's gone.
He's gone. Oh, wow. Like a ghost. Oh, wow.
And we have Beverly connecting from Panama City or somewhere in Panama. So really wonderful. Okay.
And may I ask just a very inquisitive question?
I'm going to turn off
Chester.
I'm going to mute.
Chester's having a chat with us.
Okay.
So I'm very curious about what happens on the back end of businesses in Lifewave, but I just wanted to ask Andrzej, how many people do you have in your organization at this point?
I'm talking about my personal team. So starting from me, it's roughly about 10,000, 9,800, something like that.
Wow, and that's in 22 months. That's incredible. And did you bring a lot of people across from other networking
now it's more.
businesses?
It's exactly. Hold on. on February, the end of February was 22 months. No, at the end of January, it was 22 months. So now it's 26,
Okay.
yeah, 26 months. Yeah. It's still
Okay.
good, you know. I never
good.
built that big team in such a short time before. Even though I have been in good companies, I can't say any bad word about the other companies, but here we have this momentum going. And I think that that's what I'm saying, you know, this momentum is something that everybody should take advantage on, because the world is looking at us. But, you know, a lot of people are hesitant to join because the only reason why they didn't join you because you didn't send them invitation.
Absolutely. That's so true. And George, in your organization, how many do we have today?
Over 19,000.
Wow.
Ouch.
And when I first
But
when I
want to
first
say
spoke to
something.
you,
Yeah.
when I first spoke to you, you just I think you'd just broken 16,000. So
Oh.
that means that in 2 months you've gained 3,000.
But it's not just because of us doing what we do. Well, doing what we do is super important. Super important. But there's something else. It's the patches. This would not happen without the patches doing what they do. The patches, we have endless people who see people and go, I want those patches too. My brother, it took him 2 years.
I don't want to show you, but I have probably 8 of them on me because I want to get better, you know, for the trip. So because I got sick because I was walking on it from the train, it was raining. Anya patched me. Pretty much every part of my body is patched now.
I think Chris says that he looks like a Dalmatian when he leaves the house.
Yeah. So the thing is, the patches are doing the work as well as us. And the story that really illustrated that very well for me was this one. So Chris told me about a woman who called him and said, I've seen you wearing these patches on Facebook. I'd like to try them. And so he sent her a sleeve of patches. And a month later, she said, I need some more. And he said to her, actually, I don't have any, but I can give you my link. And she said, well, if it's one of those networky things, I'm not interested. And he said, well, it is, but you know what? You don't have to buy if you don't want to, number one, and you'll get it at wholesale, number two, instead of paying full price, because he sold it to her at full price. So she said, okay. And about 5 months later, she calls him and she said, where's my link? And he says, wait a minute, didn't you tell me you didn't want to do one of those networky things? And she said, yes, but the thing is, everybody where I live now sees me walking without my walking stick. They see me healthy in a way that I haven't been for years. And they're all saying to me, where can we get those patches? So, yes, we're doing it. Yes, we're talking about it. Yes, we're supporting people, but the patches are doing what they do too. There's no way with a regular network that in 28, where like we're 25 months short of, so 29 months, no, 30 months, 31 months, that I could have, be blessed with an organization of 19,000 people if it wasn't for what David does and the patches that we have.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The right product at the right time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the right people.
Well,
and the right people we
Thank you
attract.
so much. And the right people.
And really, it's one thing that I've said this, and some of you've heard me say this, and I said it yesterday in the meeting. We have 2 products here. The patches and everything else that David's going to bring to us, which is going to be incredible. And the compensation plan, which is going to be now incredible. Meredith said to us, when she first saw this compensation plan, she wondered how anybody made any money. She thought it is so difficult. We didn't think it was so difficult, but she's like, I take my hat off to you guys for making this compensation plan work. So that'll give you an idea of something that's coming. Mm-hmm. That was the thought.
Yeah. Get ready, get excited. A lot of good stuff coming our way. a much easier way to get people in and give them opportunity to start easy way before they rise the mentality to go, you know, any further. And just share it. Just share it with everybody, because you don't know how many lives you can impact just because you tell it to somebody one day, and you never know what they are gonna do. I mean, there's a lot of people on your path, they can do much more than you, but everything starts with you today.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm
All right, gentlemen. So
It was a pleasure.
going to go and get some dinner.
Yes, I was just going to say, I'm sure
You
you
deserve
all
it.
are hungry. I think that George still needs to check in for his flight. I mean, there is pandemonium on the way to Dubrovnik. So wishing
Okay.
you a wonderful time. We are all feeling very inspired by your actions, and we hope to be with you next year at the incentive trip.
You will.
And you'll actually meet Andrzej in Anaheim. You're coming to Anaheim.
Yes, yes,
So
I'm booked.
I will make sure that you meet in person, and we'll do something.
Beautiful. I look
Okay,
forward to
nice
that.
to meet
Thank
you
you.
guys. Thank you so much for this
Thank
opportunity
you,
to be with
Andrzej.
you. Wonderful audience. I can see some leaders rising up here soon. So I'm even more happy to meet you in person, because when we meet on those trips and other incentives and different places, probably in America too, it will be a pleasure, because if you say hello to me, hey, we had you on this call, it will be nice to me to learn about you. I'm glad that, you know, some of you, I'm getting familiar more and more, and hey, let's do it. Let's make it big as never before.
Cool. And by the way, one more thing. Ilsa's on this call. If you guys are in Cape Town, we've got an event on the 3rd of June in Cape Town. So yeah, Tuesday the 3rd of June. Looking
Bye-bye.
forward. Bye-bye. Thank you.